So, just like last time, not only did I go through 17 cuts, but on the 18th cut, the iPad crapped out at me crapped out on me because I didn't have enough storage left. So what I was originally gonna do, because I didn't like how it ended, I'm really being stupid and annoying with this because I don't want to mention the one book that's coming in that doesn't have a volume 2 from it, that didn't have, and already have it volume 3, like for this one I'll show you, or for volume 2 of the Ultimates. I don't want to spoil that one because I'm really weird about that. But what did come in today, and it's the only one in the Comic Hall, which is why I'm also doing reading recommendations, is for Thor Volume 2. That's the one of the Volume 3 that came in before Volume 2. And this is the only one, because the Ultimates Volume 2, I have a lot less to read to get to Volume 2 of Ultimates, or Ultimates 2 rather, than I do of this. Because this one I have two huge, like this size of books. This is the book I'm reading next. That's what I have in my bed. It's not a reading recommendation, and obviously you've already seen it if you've been watching my videos regularly. It's this thick, and I haven't even finished one of these yet, and I have two of these to get to. So, there's that. I made that mistake again. I did the same thing with the Fantastic Four Omnibus Volume 2. But this one collects the first 12 issues of the 2015 series. And the second one I already had. I had a cosplay variant. And it's the only way I found out that the 2018 Thor series, the first 5 or so issues, and I think even after that, were worth a lot of money, like a few months ago, was because they had like an appearance of a new villain that they thought was going to be a big villain. And spoilers, he wasn't. It didn't end up being a big villain after a while, because Thor kills him. But I think Donny Cates said he was going to bring him back. I don't know, the villain, not Thor. But when I was looking up the issue 2 to see how much it was worth, because for whatever reason, I thought it was the first Gore the God Butcher, which is kind of ironic that early on in the 2012 series, there was a new villain, and then that's worth a lot of money. The issue was worth a lot of money, and then now this happened again. But yeah, irony. Alright, oh yeah, I put all the books back. I thought I was done. Yeah, guys, I thought I was done. So what I was trying to do was I was trying to cut out that last part where I mentioned that book. I made a mistake again. I made a mistake last time with the Comic Hall. But my iPad does not like cutting out 2 seconds of a video. It just does not like it. I did something different. I thought you could just save it. I didn't click save as new video. I just said save video. Maybe you have to save it before? Like, save like a copy with the, like, it was 20 minutes and 12 seconds, so we have to keep on with the full video. I have no idea what's going on. My dad or mom is just doing every 5 seconds. It's gotta be my dad. My mom doesn't do that, stuff like that. It kind of sounds like he's, like, cutting something almost. Sounds familiar. But anyways, now let's get on to reading recommendations, and not all of these are recommends, obviously, but they call it comics I've read recently. Actually, it's a pretty good one to call it, actually. That's not that bad. But just to do it like that, it kind of sounds stupid. And I've really got to call it something different for each one. I have to, either that, or I should put a date if I haven't already. Because each and every one is still called reading recommendations. And yeah, some are called, like with this one, plus Comic Hall. I guess plus more, because I granted my iPad once again. This Eminem's comic is the first one. This was pretty good. It was a free comic, so I wasn't like expecting much, and I didn't get like a crap. It wasn't like a, oh my god, you guys gotta read this book. But if you see this in your comic store and they're not charging any price for it, I get it. It's free. You know, I recommend it. It's a quick little read. And I like those quick little reads. It's an Eminem comic. It reminded me a lot of the commercials they'll show, like the good ones, you know, which are pretty much all of them now. They have pretty good writers behind those commercials. They're not trying to be they're not trying to be like hip with, you know, it's not basically how you do for kids, but it's also it's you know it does what it needs to do, but it also doesn't make it, you know, doesn't commit the sins of commercials and try to be too funny or try to get hip with the kids, you know, how to do fellow kids. It's funny because it's, you know, good comedy, I guess. I don't know. I don't know why I'm going to delving deep into that. This one I didn't finish. And it's gonna hear that. You're gonna hear I didn't finish this, or it's DNF for a lot of these books. They call it DNF. That's the initials they use on Goodreads. This one, like, I like the story, but it was just way too damn slow. It was a huge slow burn. It's the definition of slow burn. And I can't talk. That's why that should have kept the original cut and just put up with the fact that I spoiled the. God forbid I spoiled the omnibus I'm getting. It's supposed to be coming in the mail soon. Some stupid cheap graphic novels. I hate that I hadn't picked up on that fact before putting out my Christmas list, because even though my mom didn't do, because she just looked up, she didn't click the link, so she doesn't like ordering it on her phone. She likes to do it on a computer, and she just looked it up like new X-Men omnibus and made sure that it matched what was shown on the link. But the pricing wasn't, I don't think. So I don't think I was careful about what the distributor was. But when I did see $3.99 plus shipping, it's like a 80 something plus $3.99 shipping. It's not $3.99. That would be amazing for an omnibus. I would have bought it right then and there. I hated stupid fucking sound. I hope you guys don't hear that. I don't know. I don't know why. Like, that's what I can tend to do. Like, I tend to like get off track so easily, because now I'm delving into the excruciating details about the omnibus and every detail that goes along with it that doesn't need to be going along with it. Basically, it's coming late, and it's cheap graphic novels. I should have been more careful about it, but I wasn't. But anyways, this one was just alright. Just too slow. Too long. New Kid. This was really good. Actually, no, there is no, it's not called New Kid. I always refer to this book as New Kid because the first one was called New Kid, and it's basically New Kid 2. I don't know why they call it Class Act. Why didn't you just call it New Kid 2? Because everyone's going to refer to it, and I'm going to refer to it as New Kid. Not even New Kid 2, it's New Kid. But this is the companion to New Kid. One thing I did notice about this, but it kind of focused on the main character of the first book more than this character, the Drew character. And it focuses on him enough, but it's like, you think of like a companion. Irony. You think of something like it focuses on this character more than the other characters. It's half and half. I wasn't too angry about that, whatever. Because a lot of the times I just thought it was New Kid 2, not a companion. Because if it was New Kid 2, it'd focus on Jordan, the other character, and not Drew as much. But this is a companion, so it focuses half on him and half on the main character from the first novel, Jordan. And technically it's a graphic novel, because it has pictures. But these I really enjoy. This and Smile by Rena Telgemeier are the reason why I, along with, like, Batman, Dark Knight, are the reason for why I finally got into comics. But, like, Smile was probably 40% of it, or 30%. It wasn't a huge part of it. If anything, it was why I got into Big Nate. And, like, all those, like, comic strip type things. And I graduated onto things like this. Like actual comics or things like this. Two. Now I had what I do if I have 2 issues left of a book, I read them all in one day, or at least try to. This broke that rule, and for the ones upcoming, pretty much for all the other ones, it was around Christmas time too, and I wasn't able to open my presents on Christmas, so I wanted to leave enough for that next 2 days, so I had enough to read before I opened the presents, and it wasn't like, oh, I really wish they had if I had my books now, I'd be reading those, But this one, it wasn't because of the whole Christmas thing. It was because it was really slow. Some of these issues were really slow. I swear to God, it's the 27 pages, not like 22 pages, and there was extra pages count for comics. There's actually one that I'll be finishing, Animal Man, which I'll be finishing whenever I get the chance to. It'll probably be next week because it's so damn long. I swear to God, I've been reading that thing for 5 weeks, not 3. And yeah, it's an omnibus. That's why I'm glad that that's the only omnibus that's available from them that I, at the very least, I'm interested in, because that's been taking so damn long to read. And it's kind of getting to be a pain in the ass. Like whenever I see, I'm like, ugh, Animal Man, I gotta read it today. Like I still like the book. Like there's still good issues. It's just like I always like. I guess I just don't like. I guess when it gets to be a lot of issues, I don't like reading one per day, which is not good because I'll be binge reading Thor now. But that's different because it's the same. I don't know. But this one, I still liked. I'll be waiting to get Volume 3, though. Batman Rules of Engagement, the highest rated, at least I think so, at least from what I can tell, the highest rated Batman Rebirth book on Goodreads. And I would almost say that I Am Bane. Was it I Am Bane? I don't know. But the other ones were better. But this one is still good. I still like this one. It's deserving of its 4.2 out of 5 on Goodreads, because there are some good stories in this book. They're pretty much all good, actually. Ms. Marvel, probably the worst out of the few, because even the Art of Getting By, why did I just think it was called that? The Best We Could Do. The only thing I can remember is the author's name was Tybee. It was kind of weird name because she's foreign. But this one, like, so there's this character's extremely forgettable villain. It's more forgettable because you find out who it is. And yeah, I remembered him from the fifth volume, or the 6th volume, the Civil War 2 one. I think it was Civil War 2. The Ms. Marvel Civil War 2 crossover book. I remembered him only from that. And like, you're supposed to act. It was supposed to act. There's a huge twist where you find out this person's behind something, and you're like, and I was like, who the hell is this guy? And I'm rereading the series from the first book, and I swear to God, he was mentioned again. I just completely forgot about him. He's just a very forgettable villain, pretty much. And I actually don't even remember his power. So yeah, he's a forgettable villain. I kind of remember his he's actually completely forgettable when I think about it. I don't remember his motivations all that much, his powers if he had any, and he was just a suit, or really who the character was behind the mask. I only remember him from the Civil War 2 crossover, which is Volume 6, and even then you're supposed to have known the character, or at least that's the way he was written, the way that the whole thing was written, the whole twist and everything. And so when they unmask each other, like they unmask themselves. It's not like Ms. Marvel unmasked. His name is Josh, and vice versa. Josh, because I've named Josh. Funny joke in the Step Brother too. Wasn't like a joke. And then like he's so surprised that it's Kamala Khan. I'm like, how do you not know that it is? Like it's only covering her eyes. Like, at least with Superman, it's explained that the glasses he wears are special glasses. So for other people, like, you look at him and if you look at Clark Kent and you don't think it's Superman because of the way his glasses are made. It's like, think of it as like alien technology. That's what I've been told, and that's what I've been told in the comics too. What I've seen too. But this one, there's no excuse. No excuse why no one should be able to tell the difference. I mean, at least with the Robins, it's different because, I think at the very least, actually not for Dick Grayson, but for Tim Drake, I think he wears his hair differently. But even then, yeah, I guess you could see the difference. It's just I really noticed it with this one for whatever reason. But in the book itself was not that great. One thing I've noticed, and I had told me from a video of a guy he was reviewing the Ms. Marvel, the same book too. He was reviewing the first issue of this series, and he said that I noticed this after that. He said that all the villains are white men or white girls, and it's like, wow, I just noticed that. You're right. I didn't think that's. I thought the new author of Ms. Marvel was the politics heavy person for racism, at least. And yes, it is racist to do that. Any other people besides white men and women can be racist Didn't think you guys. I know that's a hard concept to grasp for some of you people, but other people can be racist besides white men and women. But it was also kind of boring. Like there was times where I wanted to stop reading this, and the only reason why I'm looking forward to the next volume is because I've had volumes like this where they haven't been as good as the other ones. So hopefully here's the hoping the next volume is at least more entertaining than this one is. Like I realize that Ms. Marvel is not the best all new, all different character of Marvel. I think it might end up being Jane Foster Thor. But I still like the Ms. Marvel series. Of course, I understand why people don't like it, and that's completely fine. But I'm glad to know I'm not the only one, because the same people that have been hating on Ms. Marvel do understand that they do have fans out there. And I get that, but I mean, I also get why people don't like her, especially because in the Avengers game, she was the main focus. Which is, even I have to say, as much as I do actually enjoy the Ms. Marvel books, I do have to agree that that's a stupid decision that Marvel made. But speaking of Avengers, this is the sole reason why I'm stopping this Thor Jason Aaron run at Volume 3 hardcover. I might get the fourth one if I really need to, I don't know. But I read this and I hated it. And this is 2018 Jason Aaron. And I've heard his Thor is, at least if you go by the points, this got a 3.5, and then the Jason Aaron Thor run, the softcover, not the hardcover, is at a 3.6. So I'm probably not going to get that. I don't know. It's $3.99 to get digitally. I might just do that. I don't know. Worst case, but I don't know. I keep saying I don't know. But I also didn't like War of the Realms, which is technically in 2019, but I don't think a lot changed in a year. But, yeah, I didn't like this one at all. I stopped reading it. It was terrible. That's the reason why I'm not getting any more Thors after the ones I got. I mean, I have plenty of them anyways. I think by the time I finish that, maybe I'll change my mind. Nightwing. This one I liked, but, I decided after Chew that I'm going to finish, because Chew Volume 2 came in way too quickly. And I was like, oh, yay, I read that now. It wasn't because I hated it. It was just because I just gotten done reading Chew Volume 1, and I wanted to take a break. So I'll be taking a break from this by putting it in now, because I just finished issue 7. By putting in Volume 2, and then waiting for that one to come in, you know. But I really enjoyed this one. This was definitely one of those books I'm glad I went back to, because I enjoyed it much, much more the second time around. There was only one issue that was really slow that I didn't really enjoy, but after that, it was like the second to last issue. But the last issue was really good. This one I found to be just kind of mundane. It was kind of the same old kind of stuff. Like, oh, the character has a really tragic past that hits harder for some people because some people may have gone through. It's more really, like it was more like grounded, so to speak. Like less people have lost it. Less people are orphans than have, that live in third world countries where they were working from age 5 to age 2, from age 2 to age 92. You know what I mean? And it's not one of those books that was eye-opening to how other people live, because X-23 did everything this book does, but better. Is basically what's my point. The only thing that this one does do that X-23 doesn't do is connect it more to the outside characters, like Batman. Like she's with Batman now, but she wasn't with. But X-23 hasn't met Wolverine, in the books I'm reading yet. I think it's the X-23 solo series, where she does that. And now I'm at the, because I'm rereading it. I'm at the, well, technically I'm at the end by X, which made her first appearance. But which that one's really damn good so far. But then she had like some 6-issue miniseries before she had her full first ongoing series. That was more than 6 issues, obviously. But this one I just found to be okay. Wasn't a huge fan of it. But I understand why people like it, but for me, I just found it to be kind of dull. But what made the issues go by really fast where that there was a lot of splash pages, like like panels with no dialogue, and sometimes there was more than one page with like 2 pages or 3 pages, sometimes 4. So it made 24 pages feel like 20 or like nothing sometimes. So the pacing, there's definitely no pacing issues in that book. And ironically, the next 2 have terrible pacing in them, starting with Fables. I'm done. I'm done with Fables. I'm sorry to all you fans of Fables, but I do not like the series. I'll give it to you this. I'll give it to you guys. I'll give this to you guys. The first arc I really liked. Then after that, it went downhill. I don't know. I'm sick of the Fables. And how it's almost pretentious. How they're like, oh, we're different than your average fairy tale. Like, I get it. You are. You say the F word, uncensored. You have nudity. Cool. And it's not. I know that's not all. But what makes it different, and how they're trying to make it different, and whatnot. And that's not my criticism of it. It's just it's boring. The pacing is terrible in that book. 27 pages. It feels like 37 pages per issue. It was one that was more than. It was one that was technically, if I didn't read it by part by part, it would have been like over 100 pages. I would have wanted to kill myself at the end of that. I would not finish that. The last one is Doctor Strange, and this is also had poor pacing issues, but at least this one has an excuse. This was back in the Silver Age, and it's funny that because Strange Tales, and ironically, Doctor Strange made his first appearance in Strange Tales. Ha ha ha! Funny joke. Irony. It's funny that because it's anthology, it's only 6 pages per book, because they just collect the Doctor Strange stories, but that 6 pages per issue, it felt like a normal pace, like a normal page comic, like Jesus, I can talk. A normal 22-page comic. That's how this felt. It was only 6. It was actually only 5 pages technically, if you don't count the cover. It was only 5 pages, and it felt like 22 pages. But this one at least has an excuse. Fables has no excuse to be as dull and as slow as it was. And I guess neither does. I keep wanting to call it the art of getting by, and I do not know why. And it rhymed. The best that we could do. I mean, it says art in it. I don't know. But yeah, another kind of another stinker of a collection. Sucky books. I don't know. I mean, there was a lot more books that I liked than I didn't like. I think in this haul. But I think if you're going by percentages, it is the same. Let's count it. 1, 2, 3. No, there's 3. So the only ones I absolutely hated. So I'm not gonna include Batgirl because I enjoyed reading that series. I never dreaded having to read the next issue. But Fables, Doctor Strange, and The Best That We Could Do were the only ones I absolutely hated. The rest I would recommend. So I guess you could classify it as a reading recommendation. Technically. That is it. And I am done. 23 minutes, longer than the first one by 3 minutes. But yeah, I hope those books come in. I'm so eager to read them. Because the omnibus is the one that I can read right away. Because it's an omnibus. Thor, I had to read the first 2 complete collections, which are the size of this. I've only read like 3 issues of the first one. So then I have another big book to get through another big complete collection book. And then the Ultimates, I have 13 issues of the first series. But I don't know, and they don't even have an estimate for that one, because they